Today we're diving into Once Human, a supernatural open-world survival game set in a post-apocalyptic future where reality itself has been twisted by a mysterious alien substance called stardust. From crafting and base building to hunting down nightmarish zombie-like creatures and teaming up with others to survive, the game provides a mix of exploration, combat, and resource management. But does it bring something fresh to the survival game genre, or does it fall short within the landscape of other similar live service titles? Let's sit back and take a closer look. And we're starting off with a character creation screen, and it's actually quite well done. There's some very cool looking presets here. This guy looks like the Joker for all I care. Let's take a look at the girls. These look absolutely gorgeous in my eyes. Having some fun with some sliders here as you can be a big chunky boy. Wow, so the character create screen is actually very detailed. Like, you have a whole bunch of presets here. Kind of reminds me of the stuff I've seen in Black Desert Online. Look at this. So the weight of the character and basically the shape of the character that you make impacts how you're going to play the game. So depending on the weight, you're going to have extra stamina, less stamina, or you're going to be hard to hit, or your hits are going to be harder overall. Your speed is going to be impacted. Your carry weight is going to be impacted. This is a very in-depth mechanic I was not expecting to see. Controls seem very intuitive. WSD to move, C to crouch. The game is immediately giving me Death Stranding vibes. So looking into the inventory system, I see that it's going to be limited to how much things you can really pack in it, and it also has a weight limit. Seems like if you overload it, you're just going to be slower or use up more stamina, so that's pretty typical. But I see it's also split into different categories, so you have tools, like hammers and whatever, but then you also have this little house here, and it seems that we'll be able to build our base eventually. And then when you go into the gear select screen, you can see like your general stats, like attack and HP. But you can also equip different items. Pretty standard stuff, but so far the UI is very clean and I'm pretty happy about it. And now we even have a backpack that reminds me of Death Stranding, simply because it looks like it could house a baby in it. Let's go and sneak up on this guy. Backstab. Nice.
This is a life form that has been affected. You might even be able to use this to your advantage.
These enemies are very unique. Like, honestly, they look like kind of like zombies, I'd say, but some of them like have light bulbs on their heads, which is interesting choice. So by tapping Q, I can get to see past events, and I'm also assuming that you can also highlight points of interest with this skill as well. Why does this guy have a cartoon suitcase head? So I just killed that enemy and I picked up its suitcase head, somehow levitated it, and now I can use it to shoot projectiles. Also, at the very bottom of the screen, I'm noticing there's a hunger and water bar, and I guess a stamina bar as well. So this game has a lot of survival game mechanics. Oh shit, this thing actually does decent AoE damage. Sweet. I'm not sure yet, but I'm assuming that this is how a base might look later in the game. It's extremely well detailed and kind of reminds me of the things I've seen in trailers and other gameplay videos. Crafting seems quite extensive with the number of different gun types I see. And crafted. That was easy enough. The world is really gorgeous. Oh, what is that? Like I said before, the enemy design on this game is incredibly unique. And now it seems that we're spawning into the main world of the game, and it looks like the entire world is fairly huge. We have a few spawn points to pick out from. And there's like a few recommended ones, and since I have never played a game like this before, I'll pick one of these guys. Shit, we're actually flying. This kind of reminds me of what you would see in Fortnite and other games like this. This gives me a very good idea of how big the world is. I see quite a few different areas. I think we're landing on top of a whole bunch of other player build bases. I honestly don't want to build here, so I think I'll head out a bit further. Jesus, these bases are literally everywhere. What is this? This looks like some kind of a camp or safe zone. It offers a huge reduction in energy and hydration loss. This is cool. So I was just exploring the camp and everything seemed normal. Until I noticed that fucking thing in the background. It's one of the freaking monsters. It was walking like 5 seconds ago. Oh yeah, see? It has an entire goddamn house on its back. Now I'm looking around here and I'm trying to figure out a place where I'd like to set up my camp. And this place seems fairly open and friendly. This looks like a pretty standard building mechanic, nothing too special just yet. Wow, alright, so there's actually quite a lot of things that you can build, and there's a lot of variety for the things you can make. I could see myself building a fairly huge mansion if I actually got into the game and played for like 50 hours or something. So as in most of these survival type games, you have a crafting system where you need to make various items like copper ingots, iron ore, whatever. Each one requires different resources that you're gonna have to gather. Right now, I'm basically just made some charcoal so I could make some copper bars in order to make additional other items. So let's just make a whole 20 of them. And I see this is going to take almost 2 minutes until it's complete. So in the meantime, I can just look around here. We just unlocked a skill system, and by the looks of it, it's fairly complex and in-depth. It's split into different parts like infrastructure, crafting, logistics, and building, and it basically starts off with basic things like wooden support and the basic roof. Of course, there's various things and you need to unlock formulas for every single one of them. But then it can go all the way up to like different levels. Like level 4, you can get a garage where you can store vehicles like a pickup truck, automatic turrets, defense traps, all kinds of electronics. Same goes for infrastructure. You can have chainsaws, advanced weaponry, tools, and crafting, so it's fairly deep and complex. So I've spent the last 20 or so minutes gathering up wood and other items to kind of craft up this little shack here. It's basically going to serve as a temporary shelter for me, or maybe I'll even turn it into a full-on base. But right now I'm kind of stuck because I need to make ammo for a pistol that I made a few minutes ago. But to unlock ammunition like that, I need to level up to get a slot for that. So we're gonna go and try to kill something, I guess, to get some XP. So you see all these random ores here are glowing? Yeah, well, you can highlight them by clicking Q, and it basically just pops out and shows you where all the different resources are in case you're having trouble finding them. It's pretty neat. I wonder if it's actually a monster you can fight. That's honestly incredible. Let's have a look around in the town, see what we can find. Maybe I'll actually get some gear or whatever. Too bad you can't really drive these things. Blast mask acquired. Let's put it on. Oh, and I also found a monster handbook, and there seems to be a huge number of creepy crawlies for me to find and take out. From what I can understand, each town, village, whatever, has a few key loot boxes hidden away, and at least one of them is for guns and ammo, then one is for armor, and there's one special mythic chest that you need to find the most rare stuff, but it's also the hardest one to find. And thankfully players are fairly friendly, so they left notes where all of these are hidden away, at least in most places. Oh, and aside from the main story, there are various side missions you can do for people like Hannah here. So I've also noticed that next to the minimap on the top right of the corner, there's a Celsius kind of a measurement there. So I guess if it gets really cold, I'm gonna start to incur damage. If it's too hot, I'm gonna be losing stamina faster. So it's pretty interesting how you need to take care of that, as well as feed yourself, give yourself water, and the water has to be, by the way, clean. The character designs are actually fairly beautifully done. Sick, we're gonna get this motorcycle.
When humans perceive deviations, they become influenced by them. Conversely, if you know enough about a deviation...
So we gotta make ourselves a little camp here, and it seems like people have been making camps here for a while. I wonder if these spawn eventually or not. Okay, yeah, so that's good. So these are not permanent. These are just basically there to help you out if you need to respawn. But they do go away after some time. That's a new one. Oh boy, it has a minigun on it. So I guess critical hits to the head are the best, as I see them being red. There's a whole bunch of campsites here from players for respawning, so the game is still definitely very active. Otherwise, these things wouldn't be here since they despawn relatively fast. Looks bigger than I expected, is what she said. Alright, so this is actually a dungeon, a level 10 dungeon. It's recommended for 2 players, but I'm playing solo, so let's just see if I actually get through this. There's a high chance I can survive, but we'll see. I think I'm personally like level 5 or something. It's so creepy. It's like their souls are locked in there. You can see why it's recommended for 2 players. And now it's summoning minions and one-shotting me with a long-range attack. Christ, this is not gonna be easy. Fuck me, he's dealing so much damage from over there. But it seems that I can use an adrenaline shot to get me back to the fight, which is fairly helpful. Now we have its minigun. I'm out of SMG ammo, but it's almost dead. I think I killed it. Look, I did it. First try. And an obtain a deviation. Sweet. Okay, that was actually a pretty decent first boss battle. Like a first dungeon and a first boss battle. Now that the game has opened up a little bit more, I decided to go into the blueprint section and see what we can actually do. So it looks like you can build a significantly larger amount of items than I really thought that you could before. It's like, for example, weapon blueprints, and you can like collect over the gameplay. You can collect different pieces like puzzle pieces and then basically hold F to fuse them until you have like a full-on weapon. I just did that for a helmet, well, basically like just a cap right here because I only had that available. But it seems like you have quite a bit of things available here. Okay, so these cosmetics are actually pretty dope. Some of them will look really good, some of them not so much. What on earth is this? It says it's a logging beaver, so I guess it's automatically picking up all the wood and stuff. You can pet it! So this is what my base looks like after about 20 or 30 minutes of working on it. It's nothing too special, have some bit of defenses here. Added some doors. The indoors are basically the same as they were before, nothing too special. I did add a wall here. There's a bit of a gap, don't mind that, that's just for fresh air. And upstairs I have a water collector, balcony here just to kind of shoot the mobs if anything does happen. But yeah, this game is probably the best building or crafting mechanic I have ever seen in my life. It's not like it's super unique, but it's really, really well done. The amount of customizable things you can make and the amount of actual furniture and building materials that you can really do, it's honestly insane. Like, look at this. See, all of this is still locked for me. I can't make this, but this is just the beginning, and I can still add a roof. I can color everything. I can add a whole bunch of things, and there's like 1,000 other things that I haven't even unlocked yet because I only have basic structures and basic furniture. So overall, yeah, the game gets like a 10 out of 10 for me on the base building mechanic at least. Story so far is a bit lackluster. I don't know about you, but I really don't care too much about what's going on in the world. And the mobs are fairly easy to kill, so there's not that much of a challenge either. This right here is probably the nicest base I've seen in the game. Quite a few of these little guys caught here, and these things are basically used for automatic resource gathering and other similar stuff. So if you manage to catch one of these, they can, I don't know, chop wood for you, so you don't have to. Basically something like in Pal World. I think I'm approaching a brand new boss battle. This area is very similar to the other one that we had. This thing is freaking huge. The boss right now is immune to all damage, so before I can really do anything to it, I must kill 3 of these random vines here. And the good thing is that the boss is also not gonna attack me in that time. And it looks like I can only attack it for 2 minutes before the vines grow back. Fuck, he's got laser beam attacks as well. Well, it's taken me about 5 minutes, if not more, and it's only halfway down. Worst part are these annoying flying balls. They're basically homing missiles. They're super slow, and they explode only when they hit like a wall or something. A bit annoying. I'm basically just doing this. I'm running in and out of this little tunnel here. Shooting while I can, and then running back. I did try to go down to his level, but that was an absolute mistake. He has an AoE, basically steps on you. Victory at last. Alright, so I think with the second boss being taken care of, it's about time for me to wrap up this first impressions and get to the pros and cons. Starting off with the pros. I was shocked at how detailed the character creation system was. It's certainly a strong point of the game, and even reminded me of stuff I've seen in Black Desert Online or other AAA RPGs. This is further strengthened by a robust skill system, allowing you to either be a jack of all trades or specialize into a general skill tree like mechanic, cook, or gun-crafter. The world of Once Human is set in an expansive post-apocalyptic open world with varied environments stemming from urban cities, towns to mountainous nature reserve-like areas, giving the player a huge playground to explore and make a home in. It is also packed with zombie-like enemies, crazy-looking demon enemies that can pop into reality from nowhere, creative boss battles with custom mechanics, and even a Palworld-style creature collection system. The game also brings with it an incredibly robust base building system, allowing players to build almost anything they can think of. Adding to that, you will also see an almost endless variety of craftable items, guns, vehicles, and more, each with their own customizable parts, skins, and personality. Combat is surprisingly solid, but to see an actual challenge, I suggest playing on hard mode servers. And now moving on to the cons. By default, you are placed into novice servers with no clear indication. Such servers are incredibly easy with hardly any challenge. I'd love it if the game had a pop-up or some kind of notice where it just let me know that I'm gonna be playing on something super easy. It's also a live service game, which means it comes with its own baggage, and I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. However, if you like games like that, you should find that this one is quite well put together with longevity in mind. As with all live service games, special currency shops, skins, and other similar options are rather prevalent. But here's a twist, you cannot really buy anything in the game with real world money, so that does kinda save you from pay to win issues. The game does offer a fairly lengthy explanation of what happened to the world and even has a proper main story, but alas, it's not the easiest to follow. And lastly, early game is filled with your standard survival game routine. Build a shack, mine some ores, chop a tree, make a gun, and so on. Nothing really too standoutish. Overall, Once Human offers a surprisingly deep survival experience with standout base building, a rich crafting system, and an open world full of weird creative enemies. The sheer amount of content, skills, gear, side quests and progression, seasonal events, hard mode servers, and a lot more makes it feel a lot more than just another zombie survival game. Its live service elements can be a turnoff for some if you're not a fan of this game model. But if you're patient and willing to dig in, there's a lot of potential here, especially when the asking fee is literally $0. But that's it for the video. What are your personal thoughts on Once Human, and are you a fan of such games in general? How does it compare to other live service options out there? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, likes are appreciated and social media is down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.